in Saratoga Springs, New York, and we're having a celebration of his 75th year of photography. He's been a photographer his entire life, and it's been fun witnessing it and celebrating him today.
Bradford, we come anywhere for you.
See the horses and the sleigh. It's in High Street in Boston's Ball.
Yeah. What do you use for your fireworks? What are you normally shooting at and using?
Well, I usually start my fireworks with a match.
Yeah. Say like F-22?
Probably F-22, maybe in 2-3 seconds.
Yeah. Beautiful. You were pretty dapper.
A couple of years ago.
His photography makes me, as the person that's looking at it, want to know the people and what's happening in there. He invites you into his photography, and that is very exciting.
Here's my nude book. This is the format and everything. It's
But you saw a lot of these.
Huh? You see, these are what the girls used to look like.
He saw beauty, so much beauty in the human form. It wasn't erotic, it wasn't something that would make you go, oh my goodness, but it just was gorgeous. I hate to say this, but he was hot.
I love you.
That's what they all tell me.
He actually has been an incredible inspiration for me. He helped me focus what I wanted to do in my life. He educated me on so many different things, and he's just one of the most interesting people that most people ever meet, actually. He's very social, he's very animated, and he's super duper smart. The work is a part of him, but it's his stories that he tells, and the fact that he really connects with people, and that they just find him interesting and engaging, and they love to interact with him.
That's probably one of my favorite photographs, yes. I like the composition, I remember doing it. However, the one of John Payne, that photograph is one of my favorites also. I think the ocean is probably my favorite spot to photograph in. My best photograph of the Pacific Ocean. Well, some of my work I like and some of it I don't like. My name is Bradford Smith, and I'm 89 years old. I have been a photographer for 75 years. My father was a dairyman, a farmer in Galway, New York, and that's where I got an opportunity to work for money. My grandfather was a photographer, but he was primarily a portrait photographer. At age 12 or thereabouts, I bought a Rolleiflex. A Rolleiflex is a very good professional camera. I had published a few photographs when I was 12 years old in different magazines. One primary one was in Better Homes and Garden. That was a house on Middle Line Road. In high school, I dreamt that New York City is the only place to be for a photographer, because that's where all the advertising agencies are. After I graduated from high school, I went to New York City to a photographic school. The school was very good, and it had only good professional photographers there teaching, which is what I liked about it. The owner was also a very popular man in New York City. His name was Paul Tishman, and he built in homes half of New York. Let's say the tuition was $2,000 per session or something. So I reached in my pocket and I pulled out maybe $10,000 in cash, and I told the director of the school that I wanted to pay for that. He says, oh, he couldn't take all that money, but he does not want me to walking around town. And Paul Tishman came in, he said, you follow me, Brad, right now, we'll go to the bank. he took me to a bank and made me put the money in the bank. So he and I became very good friends, and ultimately he got me a job as a newspaper photographer there. I was assigned to cover the mayor. His name was Mayor LaGuardia. When he would go out to eat, he would never eat by himself. He wanted us to eat first and make sure we got adequate food. He was very kind to us as photographers. I found out the newspaper business didn't pay hardly any money, So I decided I'd have to look elsewhere. There was all kinds of people from all over the world come to New York City to become either a model or a photographer. So you have to stay on top of your contacts, make sure your work is perfect. There are many cameras to use. I have Leicas, I have a Rolleiflex, which is a 120 format, and I have the Speed Graphics, which is a 4x5 format. And I would guard them as well as I would guard my children. Ultimately, I was photographing editorially for a magazine called Harper's Bazaar. Harper's Bazaar is a girly magazine. Oh, not one of the bad girly magazines, I'll say a fashion magazine. Ann Whitney was the editor of Harper's Bazaar. Her name being Whitney, she or her husband owned half the magazines in the world. Ann Whitney, and I set up the studio on 56th Street. The name of the company was just, I think, Brad Smith Photography. Some of the illustrations that you photographed in the 40s and 50s, I would get paid $3,000 for them. And that's quite a bit of money. Even today, we got paid good money. We had to do good photographs, and they were in all the national magazines. I don't think the awards mean that much to me, but to some people they do. But to me, the work satisfaction comes from doing good work. In the apartment on Park Avenue, I had this penthouse, and I had 3 cartoonists living there with me. Howie Post comes to my mind. These are famous cartoonists. They made big money. And most of them went to Pratt. They really had a high spirit of life. We had a lot of fun together because we always kind of raised a little cane now and then. Some of my friends, particularly in the advertising field, would like to go out drinking until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have to be to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was very difficult to keep up with them drinking all night and working all day. And if I came in half crocked, it would not work out very good. Something had to go. Every day, the girls come to New York City with their best makeup on, and they think they're going to set the world on fire. During the 50s, Betty Bacall was one of the girls coming. I think she came from some farm state. I hired her to become a nude model for me at night, like I do with a lot of other girls. And of course, she was broken, very anxious to get paid. Then she went to Hollywood, and she changed her name, or they changed her name to, is it Lauren Bacall? I think she became Lauren Bacall, and then she changed it again to with Humphrey Bogart. Got married to Humphrey Bogart. I think it's Humphrey Bogart. And I'm sitting in my darkroom file with maybe a couple of dozen negatives of her in the nude. And publishing them, Humphrey Bogart did not like that. So I said, "That's the way it is, Humphrey." He says, "Well, I'm willing to pay." So he paid me to buy all the negatives, except one I forgot was something larger. I may have should have called him back and told him I forgot that one, but I never bothered. It's just knowing that they become successful and using your photographs to help them become successful. It gives you a good feeling. Our nudes were very, very well done, but by very good girls. I don't recall that photographing women or cans of fruit were any different to me at the time. Of course, when you hire a model from Conovers or Powers, you don't have to worry about making them comfortable because you're paying them to be comfortable. But when you're photographing like a portrait or something like that, you have to psychologically handle each thing differently, even though you like to take a hammer over their head. Oh, should have said that, I don't think. But eventually, I got married, and I came home one day from work, and there was 3 kids I had were running around the rooftops, and a big crowd of people in the street, and the cops' cars were all there. And I said, "What's going on?" And they said there's kids up on the rooftop, and they're running from rooftop to rooftop. And they were my kids, our kids. And I didn't think that got me thinking. I said, maybe we shouldn't be living in New York City. Of course, I remember my country living, and my farm living, and my upstate living, and I said, we're moving. We looked at a house in Balsam Spa we decided to buy. So we bought a house in Balsam Spa. I think it had 56 rooms in it. The house is called Brookside, and Brookside became a museum, and I bought a farmhouse in Charleston, a 250-acre farm, and I lived in Charleston for a while. I'll tell you something. Photographing famous people is one thing you do for money, and you get paid well. But when you work for GE, you're photographing a piece of iron. It's called a turbine, and you also get paid good money. Your artistic ability has to be put on hold for a while. As a photographer for GE for 20 years, I retired. I just did for fun, photographs for fun. Today's world, everybody has a digital camera, and they all think that they're the greatest photographer in the world. The digital is not here for me. I shoot my work on a professional camera, shoot the negative, and then I scan the negative, I digitize the negative, and make prints on a digital format. I have nothing I have an objection to using a digital camera, except I just have a better way of doing it. I just keep doing my work my way, and I think I know what I'm doing. You have to have a good eye and be able to compose and operate things in a very good, fashionable way. And your eye certainly has to be a good portion of that. I think I enjoyed my career in New York City as long as it lasted, although I would like to have it go on further. Any other farm boys want to go to New York City to work, they better count on working hard and have money and be able to give and take the life in New York City. If you don't want to work hard at becoming a photographer, I would just stay on a farm. I would do it all over again, probably basically as I did. I don't see any changes I would make. I thought everybody's getting mad at me because I'm living too long. I get this idea of, well, what are you doing hanging around here on Earth for? Why aren't you going with the rest of your family?
Then why do you think you are still here? I think you still have more to give.
Oh yeah, well, there's that possibility I'm still here, but I don't know how long for how good, but anyway. We're doing what we can while we can. And that's it for today. I'll see you guys around.
That's not a smile. That's, yeah, look up at Susan. Smile. Okay. That's good. So get your hands.
You got it?
Okay.
All right.
I broke my knees.
Wow, I can't believe it.